There is a park in a small town in South Africa where an old man sits on the same bench every day. He is not rich. He does not have an important job. He is just there. And every day, without being asked, he feeds the pigeons. He is there if you walk past to buy something or need a moment of silence. He is always there. Welcome to the Sebcast, where we turn our beloved stories on their heads, look at what history might have overlooked, discover anew, and grow together in John 13, 1-5. For years people have wondered, why does he do it? Why does he sit here daily, giving without expecting anything in return? It is not a grand gesture, is not heroic, and will not make the news. And yet, it is precisely these kinds of simple, invisible acts that reveal a more profound truth. The world says, if you want to count, you must be great. Jesus says, no, if you want to count, serve. And this brings us to a question, how should we live? In John 13, just before his crucifixion, Jesus did something astonishing. His disciples were arguing about who was the most important. They wondered about power and status, and Jesus, the only one in the room who was truly important, took off his outer garment, kneeled, and began to wash their feet. He told them, "As I have washed your feet, you should also wash one another's feet." John 13:14. This is a moment of total reversal. If Jesus really is who he said he is, the Son of God, the one through whom everything was created, then this is the most unexpected action. The world says, seek power. Jesus says, seek servanthood. The world says, make sure you get what you deserve. Jesus says, give without expecting anything in return. The world says, defend your status. Jesus says, give it away. This is not just another way of living. It is another reality. It is a radical shift in how we think about success, importance, and what it means to live genuinely. Here is the thing. We live in a world of merit. Everything in our lives is structured around the idea that you only get what you deserve. If you work hard, you get a promotion. If you are good to people, they are good to you in return. If you act right, you get respect. But Jesus' way? It does not work according to merit. It works according to grace. His words are, if someone asks you to go 1 mile, go 2. If someone takes your clothes, give him your coat too. You have heard that it was said, you must love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Matthew 5:38-44. These are the craziest ideas you can imagine. Who lives like this? Who gives without expecting anything in return? Who forgives people who do not deserve it? Who serves, even if they are the most important person in the room? Jesus. And he tells us, do the same. But let's make it practical. What does it mean to live Jesus' words truly? You give your time, attention, and help without wondering if you will ever get anything back. You forgive people not because they deserve an apology, but because you have been forgiven. You choose not to use your power, influence, or status to promote yourself, but to serve others. Think about how this would change your life, your marriage. It is not about, I only give if my partner also gives. It is about service, your work. It is not about, I only work hard if I get recognition. It is about faithfulness. Your enemies? It is not about, I only forgive if they say sorry. It is about unconditional love. This is how Jesus lives. This is how we are called to live. Let's be honest, this way of living is impossible unless you understand what Jesus has done for you. Here is the secret. Jesus is not asking you to do something He has not already done for you. He has washed your feet. He has forgiven you when you did not deserve it. He loves you unconditionally. When you understand this and realize how deeply and radically you are loved, your life begins to change. Then you start to give like Jesus, forgive like Jesus, and serve like Jesus. Not because you must, not because you are afraid of punishment, but because you are so overwhelmed by His love that you cannot help it. There is a story about Mother Teresa. Someone asked her, "How can you spend so much time with the sick, the dying, the poor?" Her answer, "I see Jesus in each of them." Think about it. What if we also lived like that? What if we see Jesus in the problematic colleague, the family member who frustrates us, and the stranger who needs a helping hand? What if we stop protecting ourselves and start giving our lives away? What if we begin washing each other's feet, not just as a gesture or symbolic act, but as a way of living, because this is how Jesus says we should live? The only question that remains is, are you going to do it? We are being sent in love. Until tomorrow, take care.